Go ahead. Ready? Yep. Back here, everybody. Really happy for our guys. It was a hard game, tough team, physical team. We knew they would come in and try to run the ball. We knew they would come in and try to keep the ball. And we ended up having the ball 33 minutes, I think, to their 27. We ended up having 77 plays to their 61 in the previous two games. People were averaging 50 plays a game against them. So, and they did that in the third quarter. They completely controlled the third quarter. We touched the ball the second time in the third quarter with about 2:50 left to go in the third quarter. So, really excited about what our defense did tonight. The two turnovers only led to 3 points, and one of them at the plus 16-yard line. And they stood up and made Minnesota kick a field goal. Got a lot of pressures. Quarterback's a good runner. He got away. We've got to get quarterbacks on the ground, but that's hard to do when everybody's scattered all over the field. They couldn't get Drake on the ground. Didn't run the ball like we wanted to early, but we did late. The 4-minute drive, we killed the game at the end. I think there were 5 minutes left, and they knew we were going to run it. We knew we were going to run it, and we did. When you can run it and they put an extra guy in the box, then that gives Drake the ability to throw the ball. And I've never seen him any better. He got hit for the one interception. A second pass was a little short, and they intercepted it. They made a good play, but he's so confident. He never changes his demeanor on the field at all. He just continued to play. He's really hard on himself. He'll be hard on himself tomorrow, but what a great performance by him. Time and time again. Nate McCullum, what a game he played. I mean, here's a guy that he played one snap last week or 4 snaps, and then he becomes the star of the game tonight. But what we've got enough players, we've got really good coaches on offense, and it may be a different guy every week. It was running the ball against App State, and everybody said, why aren't we throwing it more? Well, when you stop the run, you got to throw it. And our coaches did a great job with both. And we're really lucky to have Chip Lindsey sitting next to Freddie Kitchens in the press box. And you got a lot of experience there calling plays. So I thought they did a great job with Lonnie Galloway and the other two, Larry Porter and Randy Clements, of getting things where we needed them to be. Willie Lampkin didn't play. He had a lower leg injury late in the week. Hopefully he'll be well for next week. Jonathan Adorno and Ed Montelis have had lower leg injuries. So we've really been snake bit at guard, and that's really hurt us. We've got to get those guys well. And then you start looking at defensively, we're getting better. We're getting better. We're lining up. We played a lot of players on defense. In the secondary, played a lot of guys. Played Amari Campbell at linebacker. Some today for really the first time other than many special teams. But we're 2 and 3 deep up front. And on a hot day, we rolled those guys, and I thought it really made a difference in the fourth quarter. Questions?
Two things you spoke about in offense were complementary football and then closing teams out. After Armani's interception, it's 12-13, you're driving the ball. You're not going on, they had 46 yards, and you guys scored 10 points. You're able to do both right there.
Yes, Andrea, I really feel like right now it's an older team that's been there and done that, and they get it. And I started to run down and tell our defense, you've got to stop them right now. And then tell the offense, you got to answer right now. And by the time I get there, Cedric Gray said, this is the most important drive in the game, and here's why. And here's what you got to do, man. I'm thinking, hey, I'm good. We got to coach in that huddle. I go to the other end, and there's Corey Gaynor and Drake saying, guys, we can put the game away on offense. Our defense keeps giving us opportunities. We can put the game away right now, and they did with a long drive. So these guys have been there. They've done that, and they get it. And they don't panic on a holding call on 1st and 20. They get it, and they know what to do. And then you've got what an unbelievable play by Nate McCullum getting his knee down on our boundary. That was such a key play because it was 2nd and 5, and we're needing to get the ball to the other end of the field. So really proud of those guys. Protection's better. Like we said, we weren't pleased with our running game, but sometimes there'll be some things we need to do better in the running game. But more than that, I think we're gonna see they had a bunch in the box, and they came in and said, we're not gonna let those two backs run, and that hurt us. And then the other thing that was a big question mark after App State is, could we play great gap control on defense? We didn't some today, but by and large, we got better, and we were better today than we were last week. Somebody,
With Nate, he missed the opener, and then he limited snaps last week. How did you guys kind of bring him along, and how was he mentality-wise when it's kind of a bumpy start to a new place and a new offense and so forth?
Aaron, when you've got a soft tissue injury, you really don't know how fast you can bring them back. So you watch them in practice, you watch them run. They're not in great condition when they can't run. So last week we just weren't sure. We weren't sure how much he could do. We didn't want to put him back out there and get him hurt again. And then after the game, he said, I could have played more tonight. I felt good. And then he came out and he was full speed on Tuesday. And then I'm so proud of the way he played tonight.
Matt, how happy are you for
Chip, and then I'll come here.
No, I was going to say, going into the season, this is kind of what you envision with Tez Walker on one side and McCollum on the other, kind of the tandem of the two weapons.
Yeah, and you can see how much we've missed Tez. But I'm so proud that J.J. Jones has stepped up. Kobe Pacehour stepped up. Gavin Blackmore made a huge play today till he hit his head. I don't know how he is. He didn't go back in the game, I don't think. So, right, that's the other thing about this team. They're older, and when somebody gets hurt, instead of us talking about who's not playing, we've said we got enough good players. Somebody else has got to step up and play.
Yeah, Mac, how happy are you that British got to score that last touchdown at the end, his first touchdown in 2 years?
Yeah, is it his first touchdown in 2 years? Was it really? I didn't know that.
21, yeah.
I was really happy if it had been his 100th because we needed to get in, and I thought we were in twice. But I also thought we were killing clock. And the faster we got in, the less that clock was going to run. And now with these new clock rules, every snap that you can take off gets the game over much faster. So it ended up being a blessing. And that play is supposed to hit to the right. And British has an amazing knack of his patience. He waited and then cut back to find the hole. So really, really proud of him.
Matt, how does Nate affect the offense? We talked a little about his recovery, but how did he just change the offense today?
Well, he became Josh Downs for us today. He was the guy, the go-to guy. Now next week, Pittsburgh's going to start putting two on him, and somebody else will have to step up. And I've never seen anybody do it better than Drake. We've had some great quarterbacks, but Drake has a knack of finding the open player, and he'll do that next week.
Mac, why did you go more and more to Armani Chapman at corner? Was Tayon hurt in any way, or did you just like what you were seeing there and decide to stick with it?
Yeah, Armani was hurt all spring. He had the shoulder operation and didn't get to do anything. So we kept watching. He's doing better in practice. He's earned some time. And then when you start putting Elijah Huzzy at nickel, then you've got to look at it. Here's a guy that's played a bunch of snaps as a starter in a game, and Tayon's had a couple of tough plays, loses his confidence some as a redshirt freshman. So we're going to bring Tayon on because he's really talented, but we thought at this time it was time to put the old head in the game, and he responded.
Mac, last week you guys relied heavily on the run game, you have this kind of lean pass game. What's it kind of mean to this year's offense and the ability to kind of like adapt within who they're playing against to pull out wins for you guys?
It's who we want to be. You want to be a complementary offense. And I told him at halftime, I don't care if you run another play. Throw it every time if you need to. I said that it's hot. They're not rushing the passer really well. I'm a guy that likes to be balanced. I'm a guy that likes to run the ball, but I'm also a guy that doesn't like to waste plays. And we were too many times where we were 2nd and 9, and don't be stupid. Let's don't be stubborn. Stupid's bad. Let's don't be stubborn and keep running against something that we're either not blocking or there's too many there. So I said, let's go. Let's let Drake be Drake. And we were able to do that.
I want to off of that. We know what Minnesota's defensive line brings, but was there anything in particular they were doing to take away the run systematically? Was there anything they were doing that kind of stifled you over?
Yeah, Jeremiah, they had an extra. That safety was down a lot, and he was making a lot of plays on the runs. So I think that was the biggest thing, and that also gave us the ability to throw the ball.
Now, now that the team is 3-0 in the conference portion of the season, does anything change really as far as what you got to get your guys to focus on as you open up in the ACC against Pitt next weekend?
No, really, really happy that we go to an SEC team and win. We go to a Big Ten team and win that we've never played before. That's really physical, and I've got such great respect for Coach Flack. They're tough. They're like him. They're confident. They do things that tested us, and it's things we haven't done very well. We haven't stopped the run when somebody's physical and they just line up. They got one of the best tight ends in the country. 88's huge, and a great player. So I'm a PJ Fleck fan. I'm a Minnesota fan, and that's what makes this win such a big deal for me, because I know we beat a really good, well-coached football team, and we played 3 really good teams out of conference. Not many people have done that, so we know exactly what we've got to fix before we go to Pittsburgh. A lot of people don't know who they are. We know who we are. And we know the guys are going to fight. We know they're going to be physical, but we also know we got things we got to fix.
Guys will go at them here and that.
Mac, when you talk about, you're going to rile up the defense and second grade's already there, and you're going to top of the offense and they're already got it handled. Like, that seems like what you're saying is a player-led team, which we know that's what the goal is. Like, is that rewarding for a coach in that moment? I know that you're in the line of fire and things are happening, but are you ever stopped and take a moment there and say, my goodness, this is what we want? Like,
I really did. I started to go sit in the stands. I thought we really got this thing, man. We're good. But that's what you want, and it's hard to get. And you're just, it puts a smile on your face when Cedric Gray comes back for an extra year just because he wants to win. And then he's so passionate about winning. I got kids like Ritzy coming by and patting me on the head saying, we got your back, coach. We're good, man. We're good. And sometimes in the past we've had this. We've had the head down, and you can see the body language is bad. And these kids are enjoying each other, and they're enjoying playing. And that's really, really fun for a head coach.
Go the last one.
Yes.
Of course, Tez Walker has been in the news a lot lately. Today, at the end of the game, the chants echoing through King Stadium. How did it make you feel just to hear the support of Tez Walker?
Well, I was probably doing interviews with you folks, so I didn't hear it. But the message is that this university, from our athletics director, our chancellor, to our trustees, to our coaching staff, cares about young people. And he is one of ours. And as we've said many times, you want to treat the young man like you would want your son to be treated. And that's what we're doing. And it's 100%. We're not griping. We're not trying to cause trouble. They mentioned the harassment for NCAA members or volunteers. Those people should be put in jail if they're harassing people. That shouldn't be something that we allow. So I'm totally for lock them up, charging them, because you shouldn't ever harass anybody. Period. 100%. But my responsibility, what Bubba hired me for, is to make sure that I do what's best for our student athletes. And that's what I'm doing. Did we have way too many transfers a couple of years ago? Absolutely. Did coaches, including me, say we need to tighten up the transfer rule? Absolutely. Did I ever say that we need to say that everybody that transfers twice is ineligible without a waiver system? Absolutely not. We need to have some common sense. And that's all we're asking for with tests. And we can't do much else. If anything else happens, it'd have to be tests. So we're going to go back and play. But we also, we have to worry about his mental state. What happens to him? He's had his NFL career short-term taken away from him. Everybody says he can come back next year. Well, it's probably without Drake May. Receiver's dream is to play with Drake May. That's why he came, or one of the reasons he came. And then NIL money's affected, NFL money's affected. I mean, it changed his life. So every day we have to go back and take care of him and think about what's best for his life, because that's our responsibility. And I love these kids. I told them the other day, as a head coach, there's 4 things that you really don't like. You never like to see a young man flunk out, because if you do, he doesn't get where he needs to go as soon. You never want to see a young man get in trouble, because if you do, you change your life. And now with social media, you change your life forever. The third thing is you never want to see a young man get hurt, because that changes his life too. Doesn't let him play or get his eligibility taken away when we felt like he did everything right. And the last thing is I got 120 players and not all of them get to play. And I love every one of them, so it's really hard for me not to see a guy that's trying real hard to play. And those are the four things that are really difficult as a head coach at my age. And this one has been very, very difficult for me, because I worry about him every minute of every day. And he was down there on the field. He even said one time, he said, "Tempo's getting them, coach." And I said, "Now you're coaching, man. I got it. I like it. Go tell Coach Lindsay." Appreciate you all. Great win for us. I will see you on Monday.
Thank you, Coach.